All right, let's make some noise. How we feeling? All right, I'm so sorry. I'm going to do that annoying thing that everyone does when they start shows. It's just we're here for some live music. We got a crowd in here. I need to hear a little bit more energy. Like, we're here. I need it at least here. So one more time, can I hear some noise for some live music? There we go. I love it. Well, welcome to the 104.3 MYfm Lounge. My name is Jon Comouche. You can hear me on Valentine in the Morning. I'd like to think I'm like the prince of Valentine in the Morning. I don't know what this thing was, but it felt right in the moment. But I appreciate you guys being out here. This is honestly really cool for me. I feel like I'm looking back to my first day as an intern here at iHeart, and we had a MyFM Lounge my very first day. So I came in here, and it was literally Ed Sheeran on this stage, which is pretty crazy. And then I got hired, and it was my job to set up these chairs and to bring in the lunch, and then now I'm here, so I feel like we all grew up together in this room. You know, isn't that cute? But we have an important reason to be here other than just me today. So I'm really excited to introduce you to this next guy. He is an incredible performer, the nicest guy. His song Another Love has crossed the 1 billion mark streaming. Please give a MyFM welcome to Tom Odell. I think we'll take it here first. Oh, nice. Oh, I'm sitting there. I think we're doing the interview first. Sorry. No, you're good, man. You look so tall, and then it makes me feel tall because next to you, you're not as tall as I thought, but it feels nice.
What a way to start the interview.
I know. I feel like every single time I have asked someone about you or I mentioned that we were doing this today, the very first thing every single person says about you is that you're just the nicest guy.
Oh, that's very nice.
Do you feel like that? Do you feel like you're a nice guy?
Not sure. It depends what day of the week it is. No, I don't know. I don't think I'm horrible.
Yeah. Okay, that's
no.
good.
Yeah, hopefully we'll see.
Okay, we'll find out at the end of this. We'll decide together. No, I do feel like you're extremely nice. And I'm thinking back to the very first time that I heard Another Love, and it was years ago. You know what I mean? And I realized how much I loved that song when I heard it, but in this last year, it seems to have taken on an entirely new meaning. You know, I think it's interesting as a listener, when you hear a song, maybe you're 25, right? And you hear a song, and then 5 years later, you hear that same song at 30, and it might mean something different to you.
Right.
But from the artist perspective, when you're playing that song now, does it mean something different to you now than it did when you wrote it?
Yeah, I still feel very emotional whenever I sing it. But I guess it's strange because it's so significant to me because it's changed my life so much, that song, and I guess it means a lot to me. Yeah, I guess it. Maybe I can't really remember how I felt when I wrote it, but I think there's a lovely thing that happens when you write songs. You sort of give them away to some extent, and they become shared by everybody, and it's so nice because it connects you with people, and occasionally you might meet someone and they tell you what the song might mean to them, and it's you get these rare moments that you realize that music connects us so wonderfully, and I like that thing about it.
Yeah, I feel like this song has meant so much to so many people in the last year. It's been some kind of an anthem or a symbol to people fighting the war in Ukraine, posting videos to your song, people fighting for women's rights in Iran. It's such a powerful and heavy song that has meant truly so much to people. Is that even something that you knew was happening? Did you plan that? How did you find out that it was being used in all of these different ways?
I certainly didn't plan it, and I just watched on with, feeling very humbled by it. It's difficult to really. I'm just super pleased. I'm super happy that I was able to make something that has connected with people, and I guess the best analogy I've heard is you watch on a sort of proud parent. You try not to get too involved. You just hope that it continues to behave itself.
When you have a song that's done so well for so long, I mean, I think it's 10 years this year that song's been out.
Right.
So when you're writing a new song, like Butterflies,
do
you ever feel pressure from the song that still has so much depth to it to come out with something else that competes, or is everything its own project?
Yeah, I certainly don't feel like that influences any of my work. I would say perhaps with Another Love particularly, I worked very hard. It was on my first album. It was one of the first songs I ever put out, and I worked very hard on trying to achieve what I wanted it to sound like. And I would say that's meant that because it did well, I probably approach every song with the same degree of sort of fastidiousness or attention to detail, which I think there are moments with music and writing songs that you don't need to be like that. You can just make something and just accept what it is. So I don't like using the word perfectionist. So I think it's slightly overused, and I don't think I am a perfectionist, but I do think sometimes that can be quite stifling when you're trying to make something perfect. Actually, what is perfect? It's just I saw this great thing that Brian Eno wrote about something about music that was when you're making albums, which I've just been doing at the moment. You know, you sort of you have this illusion that you're making something better, but when in actual fact, like maybe on Monday it was what it was meant to be on Monday, and then Tuesday you change it, and it. I'm not really getting the quote right, but it's like it's this thing of like it can be easy to fall into the trap of sort of perfectionism. I think, which that was a really long, boring answer. I'm not really sure what I was saying there, but. Yeah, anyway.
No, that's okay. I feel like that's the power of music is it doesn't have to be perfect. It has to just represent whatever that moment in time is. And again, when you put that out, I'm sure you have an entire meaning, and then everyone else is going to take their own meaning from it.
You just summarized exactly what I was trying to say in a sentence rather than...
What I'm most curious about, though, is that all of these songs have such a close relationship to the piano.
Yeah.
And I grew up playing the piano, so that's something
nice.
that just appeals to me so much.
When did you start playing?
I think I started playing, I want to say I was like maybe 5 or 6.
Oh, wow.
And I only played until high school and then stopped.
Right.
And then played for me after that.
Yeah.
And that's why I gravitate towards so many people that just own the singer-songwriter piano feel. Is that something you've always done?
I love the piano. I'm obsessed with the piano. That's really where my love, that and songwriting. The singing thing, I wouldn't say that's like where my initial love. I've got more into it as years have gone on, but I don't really class myself as a particularly like natural singer. Like I feel like I've had to work at it quite a lot, whereas the piano playing and the writing and the words and melodies, like something that I started doing when I was 10 or 11, and that's the thing that like gets me out of bed in the morning. I'm excited by songs. I could play the piano for hours. In all honesty, I think I would have preferred to someone else to sing them.
Really?
Yeah, but I couldn't ever find anyone.
That's interesting to me because, I mean, I feel the same way, except I can't sing at all. So it's very, very different.
Everybody can sing. I'm sure you can sing.
See, people say that.
No, I think it's true. Everybody can sing.
It could be. But then I start thinking about the reason that I really got into the piano, and maybe this is just the way I view it in my mind, but I remember growing up, and it's no knock on the guitar or anything else, but I feel like when you're playing the guitar, you're both facing the same way. It feels somewhat performative.
Yeah.
But then when I was playing the piano, it's like the piano is facing you and you're facing it, and everything else around you doesn't exist. And in some way, the piano is such a lonely instrument, but such an intimate instrument too. And I feel like nothing else can captivate feelings like playing the piano could. How did you feel, and what was it about the piano that really drew you?
I used to, one of my earliest memories is my grandma had a piano. She actually had this thing called a pianola, which was, I guess it sort of preceded the gramophone, and you pumped the pedals, and you put a manuscript type thing in, and then it would play. You wouldn't have to touch it, and the keys would go down, and it would play. And they had one, and I think when I was really young, it worked. And so, like, that was very mesmerizing. But then also, one of my earliest memories is sitting. My grandmother played the piano, and I sit with my back up against the soundboard, and I'd feel all of the music literally flowing through, vibrating through my body. And she had these long fingernails, and as she played, they would sort of tap the keys, and her jewelry would sort of jingle as she played. And it's just a lovely, a very fond memory. And she was the one that took me piano lessons originally. She would pick me up every Tuesday night or whatever it was, and we'd go to a little town called Bognor Regis, which is not particularly known for its...
It's a cool name, though.
For its beauty. But it's a very nice place, equally. But yeah, I think I loved it. But my memory of the early days of playing piano was just like I'd come home from school and just play, and hours would just pass by, and it was such a stress relief. And you know, all the things of being a teenager, and you know, you fall in love with someone, or someone. You know, it's hard being young and transforming into an adult, and the piano's been a great friend, a reliable friend all throughout that period, and in my 20s as well.
I love that I can tell how expressive the piano is for you. I saw this video, I think it was on TikTok, of you saying something that really stuck with me. Like, I saw this weeks ago, and it says, you find that the way music is taught to young people can sometimes be backwards, because kids start off on scales and theory and learning the technical side of music rather than the expression and the fun of it. And I thought that was so powerful. I'm not sure if that's what you actually believe, but to me, like, I had this piano teacher when I was learning to play piano, and my sister and I were both learning, and she was starting with scales, and we were struggling. And my sister quit, and I was like, I'm going to stick with this a little bit longer. And then she was like, I'm actually going to play you a couple of songs. You find one that you really like, and I'll teach you how to play that song. And then after that, we'll learn the scales and stuff.
Yeah.
And then I learned that song, and then when I was having a bad day, I could come to play that song, and it was a way to express my feelings.
Yeah.
And so after that, just music became this more expressive way. And so when I saw that quote, I was like, that's exactly the way I feel.
Yeah.
Like, is that the way you feel about it still?
Certainly, yeah. I think I'm not so familiar with how music is taught over here in America, but where I'm from, I think there is a bit of a hole with. I think it should be, you know, approached as something that you should enjoy. That being said, you know, there is a degree of technicality that, you know, you have to learn, I guess. So, but yeah, I think music is. I could not encourage. You know, I just think it's so wonderful, and it's so mysterious, and you know, I spend every day doing it, and I still don't understand it at all, and I still don't know what makes a good song and a bad song, and I don't know what the secret ingredients is, and the wonderful thing is, I think that will remain, and if just to work it out, maybe the allure of it would disappear.
I love the way you see music, and there's such a magic to it that I think is so easy to see in you, and I think I've teased us enough. Should we see some of this live music? All right, man. I know you got a couple of songs to perform. Thank you so much for talking to us. We'll let you get to it. Thank you.